Hello, everyone. Welcome back for the fifth episode of the 122nd podcast. For today, our guest is Coach Jules, who was a former NCAA coach, current strength and conditioning coach at Athletes Institute in Ontario. He also has a master's in kinesiology and an undergrad in rehabilitation science. So,
Thank you.
Coach Jules, my question for you today is, how would you set up a plan for how would you set up a strength and conditioning plan for a player that is during their preseason phase?
Okay. Um, First things first, there's a lot of different levels of play. So, a younger player's preseason is going to be different to a professional player is going to be different to a college player. So I'll talk about college players because that's in and around the age that I work with. So, the main thing is that you're looking for in your preseason is you want to introduce the body almost to an overload. So giving it more stress than it's going to experience within season, right? So you build up your body as much as you can. So then by the time you reach season, you've already faced pretty much the intensity that you're going to face in all the games. Because when you get to the season, start of the season to the end of the season, you're a bit on a decline. So you want to be as strong as you can entering the season. So in terms of what sort of things you work on, you want to focus on conditioning, you want to focus on strength, you want to focus on power. So in terms of strength and power, that's going to be getting in the weight room. So with the athletes that I work with, they get into the weight room, or the target is in preseason at least 3 times a week, say at most 3 times a week. And when you're in there, you want to train with intent. So, for a soccer player, it's very lower body dominant. So you use your legs a lot. Those are your tools. So we're going to work on some of the main, movements that you work on, that you can't work on for your legs, right? So for a soccer player, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them going in there and, doing 20 bicep curls 3 times a week, right? So, we focus on squatting, hinging, and then, within those tools, you can get a bit more specific. So for a soccer player, we'd work on, me personally, I avoid, back squatting. We work on split squats, which are very specific to soccer. And then, for hinging, we work on single leg deadlifts. And then with that, the way you want to approach it in a preseason, like I said, you want to overload. You start off light, right, to make sure that you are moving correctly. And then as you progress towards your the later part of your season, you start to increase, the weight that you're lifting. So maybe at the beginning you start with high reps, and then as you progress towards the later part of your preseason, your reps go down and the weight that you're moving goes up, right? And those are just 2 movements that I spoke about, but for the most part, that's how your time in the weight room would be spent. You're probably going to focus on, 1 to 6 exercises specific to soccer players. Like I said, the lower body, squatting, hinging. You could throw in some upper body in there as well, so that you're not taxing out your muscles or the same muscles every single day. And then progressively increase the intensity of that workout as you go through your preseason. In terms of conditioning, you got to run fast, right? That's one of the best ways. Sprinting is one of the best ways to kind of bulletproof your legs for the season. So, starting at the beginning of preseason with the college players that I work with, a lot of them are coming off a 2-month break. So jumping straight into, sprinting full tilt is not necessarily the best thing. So my advice to people would be is to slowly, again, progress your running. So maybe to start off, you have 2 sessions of 2 sprinting sessions in your week. As you progress towards the end of your preseason, you could bump that up to 3, or maybe even start with 1 and then you bump it up to 3. And then as far as your distances, use the soccer field as your tool. You could start off on your goal line. It's a sprint to half. Whatever time it takes you to get there, use that same time as your recovery to get back. You could play around with that work and rest ratio. maybe takes you 15 seconds, you rest 30 seconds to get back, and you go again. And then again, you progress that as you get closer to the season. So maybe your rest gets shorter and your sprint gets faster. And then the main thing really is you want to remain injury free, right? So preseason is meant to build up your body so that you can be available and be strong in season. If you manage to hurt yourself in preseason, you're doing exactly the opposite of what you wanted to happen. So my advice to anybody, wanting to prepare for preseason in terms of strength and conditioning is, make sure you have a good plan. And if you're unsure of your plan, reach out to someone that can help you with it, and create a good plan for you, because it is very important. I think the best players take preseason seriously. And if you do it right, you can, it contributes to you, one, being injury free, and two, looking very strong on the field when you do get out there.
All right. Thank you for the great detailed answer. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you again for your time, Coach Jules. And for everyone watching, don't forget to subscribe and like. And I will see you guys next week.